Hi, this is Dr. Thea Hagen. I wanted to take a few minutes just to welcome you guys to FNR 8080. I'd like to welcome all our new students and of course our returning students. We had 22 new students this semester. This is a pretty full seminar class. We have about 25 enrolled now and possibly more as students move around here with their classes the first week. I want to take a minute to introduce myself to you. And then we will talk about the syllabus, go over that, and look a little bit at just some shortcuts or sort of hacks for Canvas for those of you who are new to it. When I get to that point, if you've had a class with me or feel super comfortable with Canvas and don't want any hints, you can stop listening. The only other thing that you need to do this first week, or the two additional things you need to do this first week, is introduce yourself. So I've got 5 points on that, and there are, under the discussion tab, there's some instructions on how to do that. And then I have a short quiz for you based on a presentation about writing at the graduate level as your first assignment. But more about the course, let me introduce myself first. So I've been up here at Clemson for about 6 years now. I finished my doctorate 4 years ago, which is hard to imagine. It's been 4 years. I received my doctorate from the University of Florida in interdisciplinary ecology. My project focused on seagrass restoration in Estero Bay, which is a bay in southwest Florida. I took a multi-pronged approach to that, so I did a data-driven GIS model to locate the best sites for seagrass restoration. I also did some stakeholder meetings and worked with stakeholders to include their input, and worked on the law and policy side to try to make sure that we could actually implement our restoration findings and plan. I also did my master's at University of Florida. For that I worked down in the Everglades looking at habitat changes and how that affected the snail kite, the endangered snail kite. So I've focused a lot on restoration, particularly of wetlands, how that affects wildlife, or how that affects stakeholders or the ecology of the whole system. I did my undergraduate work at University of West Florida, which is a smaller university in Florida in Pensacola. I did that in marine biology quite some time ago now. I have been running this online program full-time. I've been a full-time employee of Clemson for about 1.5 years now. The program is 1 year old now. The online Masters in Wildlife and Fisheries Biology that you're all a part of is 1 year old now. So I worked on it for a semester before we had any students. I also teach here at the university. I teach restoration ecology, which is a class that'll be available to you in the spring. I obviously teach this graduate seminar class. I'll also be working with you when you sign up to take the WFB 8630, which is your non-thesis project class. And then this fall I'm teaching a new class on environmental education, another thing I'm kind of passionate about, and I don't have it online yet, but I hope to have it online as an option for you guys to take next fall. So I guess the last thing, just sort of personal. So being up here in Clemson, we don't spend as much time sort of fishing and on the water. I did a lot of snorkeling and canoeing, kayaking, freediving down in Florida. But here in Clemson, we are in the foothills, so very close to the actual mountains and Blue Ridge Parkway, so we spend more time doing that. Not as much as I would like because I have 2 small children now. My oldest daughter just turned 4 in July, and then my son will be 2 in October. So like many of you, I have small kids, which takes a lot of your time, of course. So that is sort of my life in a nutshell. Let's talk about this course now. So this is what your homepage looks like. We'll click on syllabus and go over that first. So this is FNR 8080, Section 4. Assignments will be due Thursday at midnight. It is an online course. That's my office here on campus, which wouldn't be super convenient for you guys, but you can reach me easily at email. I do also have my office phone number there if you want to reach out to me that way. And I am in the office. I try to be here at my desk during those times, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, or obviously you can schedule a time. So the idea behind this course is that it will expose students to some seminal papers in wildlife and fisheries biology that you'll be required to discuss and think critically about. You will also be exposed to current research going on through the natural resources in general, so not just wildlife, but natural resources in general, because you will spend, I think, 11 of the weeks this semester watching a recorded guest speaker from our Natural Resources Graduate Student Association speaker series that we have here on campus. So watching those speakers will improve your foundational knowledge in wildlife and fisheries biology and sort of keep you up to date with what's going on right now in terms of research. We're also, this semester, I've added just a brief component here at the beginning about writing at the graduate level. In this class, in the spring, we will offer a full course because one of the needs that's been identified by professors teaching students in this program is to improve the writing, improve it up to the graduate level. So learning outcomes, a little redundant. There is no text, no required text, but the readings you will be discussing are taken from Essential Readings in Wildlife Management and Conservation 2013, edited by Paul Crossman and Bruce Leopold. So feel free to obtain that book if you like. I will provide you with the PDFs of the readings that we'll be discussing. You might wish to purchase it just because there's a lot of really interesting papers in there, and it's a well compiled and edited book. Not required to purchase it. So topics are to understand these seminal works, develop an understanding of current research, and observe scientific presentations and think critically about research and natural resources. Every week, you'll either watch a recorded seminar and write a summary. I'll provide some details on exactly what I'm looking for in that summary below. Or join in a group discussion of a paper posted on Canvas. You have to participate every week in terms of attendance, obviously, for an online class. During paper discussion weeks, you have to at least post and reply to another student's post. 1 letter grade per day will be taken off for late assignments. So if you forget or get really busy or something comes up, you can submit assignments late. I take off a letter grade per day. So in general, the summaries of the seminars are worth 5 points. So if you're a day late, it's worth 4 points. If you are 2 days late, it's worth 3 points, so on and so forth. The reading discussion's the same thing. So you will be, this semester, you'll be required to view and summarize 11 seminars, do 3 paper discussions, and then this first week, you have 15 points that are available out of 100 total, 5 for introducing yourself, and then 10 for a quiz on a presentation I created about writing at the graduate level. In terms of what I'm looking for from the NRGSA speakers that you have to summarize and submit, it should be brief, 1 page to max. I want a synopsis of the talk, so spend a lot of that time summarizing the talk, sort of hit some highlights, make sure it's clear to me you watched the whole presentation and not just the first 10 minutes. And then I have a few sort of critical thinking questions just to see that you actually paid attention and didn't just sort of have it on in the background. So I want to know the scientific significance of the research that was done, a question you would ask the speaker if you were here in person and had that opportunity, what you found most interesting, and how you could further the science from the presentation. You can view the schedule of speakers by clicking on the link. You can actually view them and stream them live Thursday at 4 if you are available to do that at that time, or we archive them and you can watch them anytime in the next week. You have about a week from the speakers are on campus presenting Thursdays at 4. Your summary of that speaker is due 1 week later in terms of the due dates I post. If, and this always happens, the seminar is canceled for whatever reason, weather or some sort of issue with the speaker themselves or technical issues here on our side with the recording, I'll provide a substitute assignment. We have a lot of archived speakers from other semesters, or I have some talks that are given outside of the seminar speaker series as well that I might have you guys watch. If it is a week where you're doing a paper discussion, and that occurs 3 times throughout the semester, the first one being next week, you need to post at least 2 times. So you make an original post based on the prompt or question that I've asked you, and then you also need to reply to another student's post. So with 25 students in the class, it's too large a class to really have a discussion between 25 people, so I've split you into 3 groups of about 8 students each. So you will be discussing a paper with 7 other students. And I want you to actually be meaningful when you do these discussions. So a meaningful original post, and then maybe most importantly, a meaningful second response or post to another student's post. So, I'm not going to spend a lot of time nitpicking when I go through a grade, but I want to see that you don't just say, wow, neat point, but you actually think, maybe ask a question back, or add some anecdote of your own that relates to whatever they posted. This is a pass-fail class, which actually makes it a little easier. So you have to have a 70 or above to pass the class. Anything below that is failing. And again, the penalty for a late assignment is 1 letter grade or point really per day. So here is the schedule for this course. First week here, intro, which you're watching now. You'll have to introduce yourself and take the quiz on the graduate writing presentation that I found. You can find the introduce yourself under the discussion, and then the graduate writing quiz under assignments. And the due dates, you have until 8:30 to complete that. Then next week you'll have a reading, accidental, that's my abbreviation of the reading, that I've already got set up. And then we'll go through the speaker series here. So we'll have 11 speakers. And then after Thanksgiving, we'll have 2 more readings. I haven't chosen those yet, but I will soon. Here are the Clemson Accessibility Services, Academic Integrity, and Non-Discrimination clauses. So I think that's all I have about the syllabus. If you have questions, feel free to email me or reach out. There'll be a discussion poster thread here that you can post those questions if it's something that everyone might be interested with. I now would like to show you a few little hacks or hints about Canvas that might be helpful. The first is that there is an app available so that you can actually use Canvas on your phone or tablet. I encourage you to complete actual assignments on a laptop or even desktop if that's what you use. But it can be nice to be able to check or just do a discussion post on your phone or tablet, when you're between running errands or between some tasks at your job. So you can get that at the Google Play Store or the iPhone equivalent. It's a free app. So that is a useful thing. Then the next thing I want to show you is about the calendar. So you click calendar here on the left menu. And it will show you the calendar. You can, I have a lot of classes here. Yours will look different, reflect the classes that you have. And you will be able to see the due dates for the different assignments here on this calendar. So, green is the other section. So writing at the graduate level is due on the 30th, and then you have in September, again, it's always due Thursday at midnight, the reading, which is due September 6th, and then the summaries begin on the 13th, 20th. So you can click on whatever your classes are. So this is a nice way to view it. What's, I think, most helpful is click calendar feed and get this link, and then you can add it into whatever calendar you already use, right? So you don't have to go into Canvas to check on assignment due dates. So I use Google Calendar, and so I can sync that in and see due dates and what's going on in my Google Calendar. So I think that's helpful in terms of trying not to miss due dates and deadlines. The last little hack I have for you is to go into accounts and notifications. And you can see, here it is, it just took a minute to load. So you can see the default setting for all of you guys will be Canvas sends you notifications all the time. So every time you have a due date approaching, I've turned that off. I need the ones on about grading, but not due dates, but you would want that one on, but maybe not an email about all of these other things. You would want I would leave on due dates and announcements. Maybe you only want a daily summary, so it's not necessarily something you need right away. Weekly might be too late for some of the announcements I make. So anyways, you can go through and select what things you would actually like to receive notices about so that you're not getting inundated with notices every day. So I hope these little hacks help if you're new to Canvas, or if you haven't taken a class with me before, you might not have seen those. That is all I have in terms of a welcome or introduction. I would like you guys to now go through and introduce yourselves in the discussion post, and then the only other thing that you have to do besides that discussion is, again, the writing at a graduate level, watch that presentation and complete the quiz. Thank you.